Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
Yeah!
We got it! We got
New 52 booklet.
it! Somebody clip this.
Welcome to Comic Talk. I am Jared, and today I'm doing another problem with. I'm revisiting another former problem with topic that I did like years ago because my Lois Lane one did extremely well. So I'm going to give you guys more of this. So this one I'm dealing with Steve Trevor, the other character that I loathe so much in DC. Now, like I said in my Lois Lane video, I'm just going to say if you like Steve Trevor with Diana, that's totally valid. This is just based on what I've read and my personal opinions. Your opinions are valid. That's all I'm saying. So my first reason. So here's the problem with Steve. The first thing, he's irrelevant to Wonder Woman's world because here's the thing. The way he's written now, he barely shows up in her world because here's why. Wonder Woman fights gods and like demigods and like god tier characters that Steve Trevor is literally no use in. Yeah, if ever there was a character that is useless, that's not Lois Lane, it's Steve Trevor. What does he do? Oh, I'm going to shoot the god of war. That's not going to work. And he doesn't fit in with Wonder Woman. Once she leaves the island, his role is done. Basically, his role is to get her off the island in the very beginning. That's it. Or, and I'll bring this up later with the George Perez run, did him really well. I'll bring that up later. So there is that. He's irrelevant. He just doesn't fit. I get the idea of having a soldier with Diana because a lot of what she deals with is war and the god of war and such. So I understand where that comes from. It's just nowadays, it's very rare that I would get that vibe from this pairing. Most of the time, it is the most, actually, on my next point, the most tone-deaf thing ever. So that's my next point. The thing about it, and I remember this panel vividly. So one of the things I did when I got back into comics and started the channel was I just went onto like all these news sites and just caught up on like the major events. So I figured I would look at what's going on with Wonder Woman. And I saw that she and Steve Trevor had broken up because when I left, this was in the beginning of Rebirth. So they were just getting back together. So I was like, okay, so let me see this. So I look at the reasoning why Steve broke up with her. And it's because she's not around a lot and she doesn't make time for him. Basically. And I'll put the panel, the page on the screen in the edit. So I read it, and he basically says, I can't do this anymore if I'm going to be the only one that's putting a lot of effort into this relationship. And this is the same thing about like New 52 Steve when he broke up with Diana. Broke up. They never really dated. But here's the problem with that. So for those of you that don't know, at this point, see, DC has a problem with Steve in that they keep changing his military branch. One, he's Air Force. Two, he's one time he's Air Force, Navy SEAL. In the Tom King run, he's in the Marines. So I'm like, pick a freaking branch. But in this line, he was in the Navy SEALs. And the thing about it, he should know what it's like to be away from home and your loved ones for a long time, fighting and dealing with combat. Second off, she's dealing with multiversal threats, Darkseid, the gods, Grail. She's dealing with, honestly, she's dealing with stuff that should take up most of her time. I'm sorry if you're feeling neglected, Snowflake Steve. Yes, that's what I'm going to call him from now on, Snowflake Steve. I just came up with that because you chose this when you dated Wonder Woman. Did you really not think she'd be too busy for you? I don't understand this. So that's number two. Number three, he is a wasted opportunity because I have a perfect example. DC in the New 52 did a book called Men at War. It's basically Sergeant Rock and Easy Company, but in modern war. What DC should do, this is something I've long advocated for. So they should take all the soldiers in DC that exist now, all the regular dudes, Rick Flag, Steve Trevor, Sergeant Rock's kid. In other words, make a team of special operations guys. Have them do special operations, counterterrorism stuff in a world with superheroes. Because I think in a world like that, you could really tell some fascinating stories. Because how does a soldier relate to his job, to his or her job, when Superman could fly down in the Middle East and resolve that in like 30 seconds? I would love to see stories that really analyze that and the cost of war. That would be very cool. Plus, a lot of DC's legacy specifically has been in war comics, so they should really invest in that area. And the thing is, Steve Trevor, outside of Wonder Woman, has been used well. I mean, in the beginning of the Warworld saga, he was kind of used as the Nick Fury to basically, when Superman was kind of getting into conflict with the Atlanteans, Trevor kind of served as like the Nick Fury to kind of like diffuse the tension. So they have used him well. Ironically, it's not with Diana. And that's point number 4. He has been used a lot better, particularly actually in the Greg Rucka Rebirth run when it was just him and his team doing special operations stuff, because that is so cool. And that's a fantastic, that's an original idea. Soldier, or an idea that hasn't been touched, as far as I know, since the New 52. Take regular soldiers and put them in a world with superheroes, and let's see how they relate. And now 5, I want to give an idea. And actually, 5 I already addressed. It's how would I fix Steve? Because again, take him, take Flag, take all the other dudes, regular soldiers. You can even create an original squad for him. Have them do like regular stuff. Have them do like Argus missions, countering like maybe the more low tier supervillains like Mr. Freeze, or someone that's not going to like murder them with like a thought, and have them do that stuff. And you can have them go, why are we doing this when we could just call in the Justice League and they'll resolve this in like 40 seconds? That's a fantastic story idea. And it's a way of taking a character, Steve Trevor, who historically has no role in DC at this point, beyond being Wonder Woman's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend in this case, and giving him something to do that I think he could fit in really well. So on that note, this is where I'm going to leave it. I hope you guys enjoyed this and are somewhat willing to hear me out on this. You guys have been very civil with the Lois Lane video, which I will link above, so you guys can check that out as well. And let me know what other like problem with you would like me to see, what other characters you want to see me analyze and fix, because I am very much down to do this, particularly if you give me the response that the Lois Lane video got, because it's almost at 2K views. Thank you, everyone. So on that note, I'm going to call it stay heroic, everyone. And remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lame. See you later.